spend less time in your head. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
So here we are sitting in our younger twins' empty room, empty closet. It's pretty bittersweet, but it's also super exciting. It's like we're sitting on, like, ready, you know, at the top of the
top of the roller coaster before you're gonna go down, and it's very emotional. We have like an empty house.
Yeah, we're not there yet, Adam. We're not there yet. We're setting the ambiance.
Very emotional. It's very
Stop
emotional.
it. Stop. So if you watched our video last week, you saw that we announced that we are going on a 1-year around the world trip with our 2 sets of twins. We leave in 1 week, and we just emptied our whole house as we sold everything and we're renting our house. But we are here to tell you some ways to make it a little less stressful, a little more manageable, a little more practical and realistic, that you could do this trip too.
There's a lot of different ways to cut the cake. So,
did you do a lot of the cake cutting?
I don't know why girls get so tense about all this planning. It's fun.
So there's a lot of people who will probably start planning a trip like this 12 to 14 months in advance, and they'll plan all the different countries,
use airline
all the
miles.
flights. We prefer to kind of have a blueprint, open-ended, where we know around what countries or what geographical region we want to be in.
Okay, wait. But we have no idea after January where we're going, but we like have ideas.
But we're planning on planning that in the fall.
Yes.
So we're planning it late, but like we know when we want to plan it.
So we bought a one-way ticket to Vietnam.
But we're very much like, if we meet people or we see an area that we want to stay in longer or shorter or go somewhere else, we prefer to
have flexibility.
To have flexibility and kind of go at our family and our kids like pace and speed when we're traveling.
So all through COVID, we were talking about doing a trip like this. And then I think in January, February, March, we started to have more serious conversations.
We're kind of spontaneous.
Yes. So I think in March, one day we woke up and I was like, hey, Adam, let's do the trip. Let's leave, at the end of the summer. And he's like,
So let's do this thing.
And we didn't know if we were going to just travel or be stationary, but we came to this, let's meet in the middle. And so that's why we're going to Vietnam for a couple of months and then we're traveling. We made the decision. We didn't book the flight, but we spoke to the school, and that was in March. Spoke to our families in April. And then I'd say in June, we started talking about, should we sell our house or rent it? We found renters. Starting in June, we started to purge and clean things out.
Set things up in Vietnam.
Yeah. We also found a school in June for them to start. The school actually started last week. They're going to be 2 weeks late, but that's okay.
The only flight we've booked is to Vietnam. We haven't planned anything else beyond that. And we usually like to plan a few months in advance, I would say.
There were so many things that we had to do in order to make this possible.
So selling our cars was actually probably one of the easiest things that we had to do. Both our cars on lease. We are able to have equity in both of our vehicles. So the buyout was less than what the car is worth now. So we were able to trade them in and get the difference and actually make a little money on both of the leases, which is kind of unheard of. So that was one of the easiest things that we had to do, was get rid of our cars.
And we didn't want to hold on to the cars because we didn't want to have to pay the insurance and all that stuff. And it was just easier to get rid of them. And when we come back, we'll
lease
figure
new
it out.
cars.
Yeah. Did you take that money? Did you put it in the bank or did you take it somewhere else?
We took the money from the Jeep and went to the casino.
Let's play some blackjack.
But don't worry. We brought back all the money. We found it after we lost it.
The second thing is the house. Although she deserves all the credit for that, I would also say this is probably one of the healthier, easier, better things to do among the long list of things we had to do to prepare, just because now all of our stuff is organized and we got rid of stuff that we needed to get rid of 6 years ago.
Okay,
So,
it wasn't easy, but I do have to say that I always we hold on to so much stuff that just creates so much chaos and havoc in our lives. And it felt so good to get rid of it. So what we did was we went through and we made piles and we said, keep, donate, or bring. And we found some great places to donate. And it was sad, but it felt so good to let go. So for the last 6 weeks, I think we've been purging and donating and throwing away and getting rid of stuff. And we were debating whether to sell our house or rent it, but we were not ready to sell our house. So we rented it. Doctor's appointments. So the kids were mostly up to date on their vaccines. So we contacted our pediatricians, told them that we would be away for 1 year, and one set of twins needed 5-year vaccination. So we got them done earlier. We found a pediatrician in Vietnam where we'll be for at least 4 months. We've gone to them before. We're very comfortable with them. So in terms of like medication and whatnot, we feel fine. We'll just go to the pediatrician in Vietnam.
So although this all can seem overwhelming, if you kind of put each category in its own box and kind of run through the 4 or 5 point checklist in each little department, it all of a sudden starts working together.
Oh, but who makes all those lists?
Yeah, I just do what I'm told.
He carries things. Oh, one more thing.
A lot of trips to the
I'm on 2 medications, and I had a hard time getting a year prescription. I didn't try that hard. I got a 6-month prescription from my doctor, but what I did was I called the pharmacist in Vietnam, and I made sure that they had both of those medications. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a doctor's appointment in Vietnam and then get that prescription. So it just happened to work with those 2 medications. That doesn't work that way for everybody, but yeah. And then we'll go with like a big bag of Tylenol and Benadryl and all that stuff for the kids. But most of the stuff you can find anywhere. So what we had to figure out, obviously, is the kids' education is very important. The older twins will be going into 1st grade. The little ones will be going into pre-K, which is still important that they learn, but not as important as 1st grade. So we had the option of like travel the whole year and homeschool, or because we have a base in Vietnam and we have a lot of business to do there, we decided that we would put them in school in Vietnam. Now, what we were looking for an international school, an affordable international school, spoken in English, near where we're going to be living, and one that would work with us so that if we leave in the middle of the year, that's okay. So we happened to find this incredible school. We actually have 4 friends who have kids there. It's an international school run on the English Cambridge program, and they let us pay per term. So that means that they're going to be in school for 2 terms. The 2nd term ends January 15th. After January 15th, we won't pay any money. So they'll be in school.
But one of the hardest decisions to leave was pulling the kids out of the school here.
I thought I was supposed to feel more excited.
It's bittersweet. Do you want to cancel the trip?
I don't think so.
Because they had such a great year in kindergarten. They made good friends. They had great teachers. And they were really building a nice foundation. So it's like, you're taking your kids out of a safe situation, putting them into an unknown situation. And, as a parent, that is, can be unsettling.
But what we're going to show you is that kids are, what's the word?
Kids are very resilient. They're like rubber bands.
Yep. They're gonna be just
and
fine.
they're way more resilient than parents.
And if they're not fine, we'll work with them.
Usually find out.
How much to bring, what to bring? Well, the purging and the organizing and the piles made things very easy. So I'm going to sit with the kids. I wrote out, I want them to bring like 5 pairs of shorts each, 2 dresses, like 6 pairs of underwear. So I really thought through things. In Vietnam, we will have a helper who will do our laundry every day or every other day. So we don't need that much stuff. The kids will be in school uniforms. And as they grow, because kids grow, we'll get them more stuff there. You can buy clothes everywhere.
Marissa's a believer in like, when you need something, buy it when you need it instead of bringing it like 6 months before you're going to need it.
Yes. So I made lists of like clothes and like things and shoes and that type of stuff. We're each bringing like 3 pairs of shoes, like Birkenstock, sneakers, and I might bring like a little nicer pair of shoes. And what we're going to do is, since we're going to be based in Vietnam for a couple months, we'll bring some extra bags that we're okay to throw away and stuff that we're okay to leave. But then when we start traveling in January with just 2 backpacks that Adam just purchased, we'll either ship some of our stuff home or we'll donate it. So we're going to go with more stuff. Not so much stuff, but more stuff than we'll be traveling with. And then things like sunscreen and bug spray and medicine, I like to bring, but of course we'll rebuy because we'll use that stuff there.
So again, this all becomes manageable as you compartmentalize each area. It's not perfect. Like there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety that goes along with it. The hardest part for me is the goodbyes, which we had to start saying goodbye to cousins and siblings. And that's like the hardest part, like not so much for me saying goodbye, but like our girls look up to their older cousins who are a few years older than them, and it's hard. That's the hardest part for me, is saying goodbyes. And we
Agreed.
started saying goodbyes, and what we're going to do around that is we're going to pick like a few important family members or friends and we're going to have like schedule like twice a month or once a week, like FaceTimes with them, with the kids and with them, to have regular checkups and
So if you
check-ins
didn't make
and
that
keep in
VIP
touch.
list, I hope you're still watching.
Yeah, there's only like 3 or 4 people on that list. So.
Okay, a few other housekeeping things. Mail. So we got a PO box. I think it was like $200 a year, and we had all of our mail forwarded to the PO box. A family member will check it like every couple of weeks. That's one thing. Second thing is health insurance. So we canceled our health insurance in the US. We got a travel plan. It's actually an expat plan. So it covers us overseas, and it also in a terrible situation would cover us in the US should we have to go back in unforeseen situations. So we got that. Anything else? So I would say that if we can plan something like this with 4 kids, you can do it too. You just have to be, and depending on what kind of person you are, you can have spreadsheets and checklists and to-dos and all that. Actually, I think the most important thing is good communication with your partner. If we can do it, you can do it too. It just takes a little bit of planning, but not too much planning, because you don't want to get like too stuck into doing something when there's like other, things don't go right. Just takes some planning and figuring out financials and whatnot. Luckily, we were financially in a better place to do this trip because we rented our house, we sold our cars, and the cost of living over there is less. So that worked out for us in our favor.
You'll find that you actually spend less money when you're traveling than
if you do it like us.
Yeah, and we'll show you that.
Next time you see us, we're going to be on an airplane and going to Vietnam.
With our bags and
our kids.
And hopefully some of the roller coaster of emotions will be in our rear view mirror.